I flew everybody out to Hawaii thinking it would bring us closer. Instead, they stuck me in a cheap motel an hour away. Just because you footed the bill doesn't mean we actually want you hanging around, my brother joked. I didn't argue. I just smiled, tucked something away inside the motel safe, and left. When they stumbled across what I left behind, the screaming started. This was supposed to be the trip, the one that changed everything. For the first time in what felt like forever, I'd set up a real family vacation. Not a quick, half-hearted weekend crammed into my little apartment. Not a chaotic Thanksgiving full of yelling about politics at the dinner table. No, this time it was supposed to be different. Slow, golden sunsets, real memories made kind of different. I'd spent 10 whole months putting it together, no exaggeration. I made folders. I built spreadsheets. I combed through group deals, credit card rewards, and compared resorts. I even ranked beaches by how easy they were to get to and whether they were good for kids. I cross-referenced weather charts for the shoulder season. I even shelled out a little consulting fee to a travel agent just to double-check I wasn't getting ripped off. Because I didn't just want this to be good. I wanted it to be perfect. And not just for me. For them. For my mom, Diane, who hadn't taken a real vacation in over 10 years. For Gerald, my stepdad, who spent his life pulling double shifts at the auto shop and talked about Hawaii like it was some fantasy he'd never reach. For Tyler, my younger brother, and his wife Brooke, who always looked rundown and worn thin but still showed up for every Christmas, even when the money situation was tight. And for Megan, my cousin, and her little boy, Caleb, who had never even been on a plane before. I wanted Caleb to see the ocean with his own eyes. I'd been the boring one my whole life. Steady Lucas. Quiet Lucas. The guy who showed up when your car wouldn't start and remembered everybody's birthday. But maybe, just maybe, this would be the moment they finally looked at me and saw something more. Somebody they were proud to call family. I wasn't rich. Not even close. I work IT support and rent a small, no-frills apartment. I planned for this trip the way some folks plan weddings. Turned down outings. Skipped birthday presents. Said no to dental upgrades and nice dates. Every choice I made for nearly a year pointed to this 1 week in Hawaii like it was the finish line I'd been racing toward. And the thing was, no one else even knew I was running. So when we stepped off the plane into the thick, flowery Hawaiian air, my chest felt so full I thought it might burst. I took a deep breath and thought, this is it. We got our lays. Took the awkward group picture. I even tipped the shuttle driver ahead of time to help juggle all the bags. Everyone was smiling. Even Tyler looked relaxed for once, goofing off with Caleb, doing terrible pirate voices that had the kid cracking up. When we rolled up to the resort, it was like something out of a magazine. White pillars. Palm trees swaying like dancers. That perfect kind of golden light that makes everything look a little magical. I practically bounced up to the check-in counter, excited to wow them with how well I'd pulled this off. Ocean view rooms. Welcome baskets packed with local snacks and reef-safe sunscreen. I even had a sunset dinner booked for the second night. The receptionist smiled at me, all professional. Name, she asked. Lucas Whitmore, I said. I booked the Whitmore family group. She started typing. Frowned a little. She said. I do see the group reservation, but your name isn't listed on any of the rooms. You're in a separate booking or Royal Sands motel. My smile flickered. No, I said. That's not right. I made the reservation myself. She turned the screen so I could see. Sure enough, every name was there. Diane, Gerald, Tyler, Brooke, Megan, Caleb. Just not me. I looked up, totally thrown. That's when Tyler sauntered over, dangling 2 room keys like he was the king of the place. Oh yeah, he said. We moved your room to a quieter spot up the road. Figured you'd want some peace and quiet. I gave a half laugh, thinking maybe he was kidding. Wait, what? Brooke strolled over, already wearing her sunglasses. It's better this way, she said casually. It's super close. Only about an hour. I just blinked at them, trying to process it. Why would I stay in a motel? I asked. Tyler just shrugged. Look, man, just because you paid doesn't mean we want you hanging around the whole time, he said, like it was hilarious. Like he was just ribbing me about my nerdy suitcase back at baggage claim. Brooke giggled and chimed in, come on, don't make it weird. Weird, right? Finally, Diane, my mom, stepped in, arms folded across her chest like she was gearing up for a fight. Honey, she said, it's no big deal. There just wasn't enough room and Sean really wanted to be with us. Besides, you like being on your own, don't you? You've always been independent. Independent. That polite word people use when they mean left out. Gerald muttered something like, you'll be more comfortable there anyway, without even looking at me. And I stood there, suitcase in hand, feeling the air-conditioned lobby shrink in around me, realizing they'd all decided this behind my back. After I paid for the whole thing, I could have stood my ground. I could have said, actually no. I paid. I'm staying here. But the words just wouldn't come out. My heart was hammering and my face burned hot with embarrassment. So I just nodded. Sure, I said. Sounds peaceful. I grabbed the address they handed me, dragged my suitcase out through the side door and past the shiny valet stand and the perfect flower beds. When I told the Uber driver where I needed to go, he gave me a side eye. That place? You sure? I smiled like it didn't matter. Yeah, I said. I'm sure. The motel technically had 3 walls and a roof. That's about the best I can say. The room smelled like a mix of cheap air freshener and bad decisions. Beach access was technically true if you counted crossing 3 streets and a parking lot to get to a tiny patch of sand. The bedspread was sticky in a way I didn't want to investigate. The view was a busted vending machine and a flickering neon sign that said, Royal Sands. Stay a while. I sat down on the edge of the bed, suitcase still zipped, and just stared at the wall. I kept waiting for my phone to buzz. Waiting for someone to call, laugh it off, and say, gotcha, you're actually staying with us, come back. But the phone stayed silent. I thought about the little gifts I had packed in my carry-on. A Hawaiian puzzle for Caleb. A box of local teas for Mom. A waterproof phone case Tyler once mentioned wanting. They were all still neatly wrapped, zipped up tight. I had pictured handing them out that first night, everyone laughing, having drinks by the pool, touched that I'd thought of them. Instead, I sat there alone, listening to the couple next door arguing over whether the baby looked more like her ex-boyfriend. I took a shower with my flip-flops on and didn't even bother to unpack. The next morning, I got up early, grabbed an Uber, and headed back to the resort, still holding on to some ridiculous hope. Maybe they'd woken up and realized how wrong it all was. Maybe today they'd remember who had made this trip happen. Maybe, just maybe, today I'd finally have a seat at the table. But when I showed up, they were already deep into breakfast, laughing and joking like they didn't have a care in the world. Tyler had on this wild Hawaiian shirt and was retelling a story I knew he'd stolen from me years ago. Brooke had her sunglasses perched on top of her head like some kind of beach queen. Diane was bouncing Caleb on her lap, feeding him little bites of juicy mango. Nobody noticed me walking up. Hey, I said, trying to keep my voice light and easy. Morning. Diane looked up, offered a quick, vague smile. Oh, Lucas. We didn't realize you were coming by. I figured I'd catch up with you guys, I said, keeping the breezy act going. What's the plan for today? Gerald threw a glance at Tyler before answering. Thinking we'll hit the beach, maybe do that hike later on. I nodded. Should I meet you somewhere? Brooke tilted her head a little, almost like she pitied me. Well, we figured you'd want to do your own thing. I reminded them gently that I had booked a snorkeling tour for the group. It's at 2, I said quietly. Tyler, mouth half full, shrugged. Right? We might just skip that. Sean wants to take Caleb to the aquarium instead. I opened my mouth to say something. But what was there to say? That I'd spent hours researching activities everyone would enjoy? That Gerald had agreed to go snorkeling even though he hated boats just because Diane was excited about it? That I had printed out laminated itineraries all neatly tucked in my backpack like some eager fool? Instead, I just swallowed it all down. Cool, I said. Whatever works. There wasn't a single empty seat at their table. Brooke gave a little gesture toward the pool bar. They've got great coffee if you want to grab something, she offered, almost as an afterthought. I nodded again, feeling more invisible by the second. Then I turned and walked away before anyone could pile on another awkward moment. Not that they would have. They were already gathering their towels, tossing on sunglasses, heading toward the beach like I was nothing more than a breeze passing by. But instead of drifting toward the pool bar or the shuttle stop like they expected, I veered left and slipped inside the resort lobby. The blast of cold air conditioning hit me like a slap, shocking me back into my own body. It was almost too cold, but it helped. It cleared my head. I headed straight to the reception desk. The same woman from check-in was there, and she looked a little surprised to see me back so soon. Can I leave something in the hotel safe? I asked. Of course, she said, professional and polite. Would you like to set a pickup code? No, I said. Just label it for the Whitmore family. If I don't show up for breakfast tomorrow, give it to them. She hesitated, but didn't ask questions. Just handed me a security envelope and logged my request. I sealed it up, slid it across the counter, and thanked her. Outside, I paused under a palm tree, out of sight, watching my family from a distance. Tyler was trying to show Caleb how to do a handstand in the sand. Diane was posing with Gerald for a photo. Brooke was sipping from a coconut, looking like she belonged on a postcard. None of them even glanced my way. But that was all right. I wasn't waiting for their attention anymore. They had no clue what I'd already set in motion. No idea that back at the motel after their little joke, I'd logged into every booking account I had and started quietly tearing it all down. The inter-island flights? Cancelled. The excursions? Gone. The hotel extensions, the snorkeling tour, the catamaran ride Tyler wouldn't stop talking about? All erased. And now inside that hotel safe was something that would make sure they finally understood what they'd thrown away. I didn't know what would hurt them more, the cancelled plans or the words I left behind. But I could already picture it clear as day. Them opening the envelope. That heavy, awful silence. The slow crawl of confusion turning into panic. And then the screaming. Let them enjoy their beautiful sunrise. It was the last free thing they were ever gonna get from me. The thing is, it was never just about Hawaii. That's what people don't understand when they hear stories like this. It doesn't start with a vacation or a hotel room. It starts years earlier. It starts with the little moments where you realize you're not the favorite, not the funny one, not the golden child. You're just the one who's useful. I was 9 years old the first time I really felt it. Tyler knocked over a Lego tower I'd spent a whole week building, something really complicated, something I was proud of. He laughed, called it stupid, and walked away. When I told Mom, she barely glanced up from the dishes. Don't be dramatic, Lucas, she said. He's younger than you. Just build another one. That became the script for my life. Tyler broke things. I rebuilt them. Tyler forgot things. I remembered. He overspent. I quietly picked up the tab. And every time I asked for the tiniest bit of recognition, all I got was a pat on the back and the same old reminder. Be the bigger person. So I became the bigger person. When Dad walked out, I stepped up. When Mom married Gerald, I helped him move in. I made flashcards to help Tyler pass his algebra final. I lent him my car. I covered the Uber bill the night he got blackout drunk and couldn't find his wallet. I never complained. Not once. Because deep down, I honestly believed that's what family was supposed to do. And some part of me, the part that still wanted to believe, thought that maybe if I kept showing up, kept doing the right thing, they'd finally see me. Not just as the reliable brother. Not just the polite son who never forgot a birthday or a thank you card, but as someone they could actually be proud of. Every time I brought up wanting more for myself, moving out of state, traveling, maybe chasing a different career, Mom would give me this worried, puzzled look. Like I just announced I was running off to join a circus. But what about Tyler? But Brooke needs a ride to her doctor's appointment. You're the stable one, Lucas. You're not like Tyler. He's sensitive. Sensitive. That was their favorite excuse for everything. When Tyler screamed at me for forgetting to pack his charger on a weekend trip. Sensitive. When he ghosted Brooke for 2 weeks early in their relationship and made me cover for him. Sensitive. When he crashed his car drunk and called me to fix it instead of calling the police. Sensitive. But me? I was the rock. The dependable one. Our Lucas. He always handles things. The truth is, I didn't mind helping, not at first. I liked being dependable. I liked being trusted. But after a while, it started eating away at me. Because it wasn't love holding that structure up. It was obligation. Expectation. Guilt. Like when I paid for Megan's moving truck after her ex walked out and she cried, telling me I was the only one who'd ever really been there for her. Then turned around and didn't invite me to her son's birthday party because there weren't enough chairs. Or when Mom called me in the middle of a work meeting to help fight a medical bill. And then forgot my birthday the next week. Or when Tyler finally said he was proud of me the day I got promoted, but asked for rent money in the same breath. The Hawaii trip wasn't just a gift. It was a question. One I hadn't been brave enough to ask out loud. If I gave them everything, would they finally treat me like I mattered? And now, finally, I had my answer. When I got back to the motel after that second breakfast, I sat down on the edge of the stiff bed and stared at the cheap little receipt from the Royal Sands Motel. Of course, I'd paid for the motel too. It wasn't part of the original plan, but once they redirected me there, I picked up the cost without even blinking. Why wouldn't I? That's just what I do. I stared down at the bill, $161.67, and felt that special kind of quiet fury. The kind that doesn't show on your face. It just settles deep into your bones and starts growing roots. That's when I opened my laptop, logged in, pulled up the travel itinerary I probably knew better than my own work schedule. I started canceling everything. First, the snorkeling tour. Gone. Then the inter-island flights to Maui. Gone. Next, the helicopter ride. Yeah, the one Mom had claimed was too much, but couldn't stop bragging about to her church friends. Gone. I canceled the rental car I'd booked for Tyler and Brooke's day trip too. After that, I logged into my email and scrubbed every saved traveler profile except my own. Sent a quick message to the resort's billing office, asking them to remove my card from the account for any new charges. It felt like walking through a house I'd once loved, turning off the lights one by one before locking the door for good. Later that night, I wandered past the resort again. Not to spy on them, honestly. I just wanted to see if I felt anything. Anger, regret, jealousy. But I didn't. What I felt was crystal clear clarity. They were gathered by the pool, laughing and drinking like they didn't have a care in the world. Tyler, of course, was at the center, holding court and telling some half-true story like he was on stage. Diane was snuggled up in a shawl, Gerald's arm wrapped around her shoulder, both of them glowing in the warm lights. I could have been part of that picture. But I wasn't. I stood there for a moment unnoticed, just like always. Then I turned back toward the road. Not toward the motel. Not yet. I wasn't finished. I wasn't going to cause a scene. I wasn't going to beg for a seat at their table. I was just going to let them walk right into it. Let them sip their drinks, plan their perfect day, believe I was still licking my wounds at the Royal Sands. Meanwhile, they had no idea the ground was already crumbling beneath their feet. And when they opened that envelope tomorrow, I hoped the screaming would be loud enough to rattle the windows. The first message rolled in at exactly 9:18 a.m. the next day. Sean. Hey Lucas, are you around? We're not seeing your name on the catamaran list. Did you cancel the tour? It was polite, confused, still hopeful that maybe this was just some mix-up. I didn't respond. At 9:28 a.m., Tyler called. The screen lit up once, twice, decline. At 9:31 a.m., the group chat buzzed. Tyler, bro, did you cancel our helicopter ride? I didn't answer that either. Just flipped my phone face down on the nightstand and poured myself another motel coffee. Burnt, bitter, perfect. I pictured it then, the moment they'd opened the envelope. The front desk would have handed it over after breakfast, just like I'd asked. Someone would have shrugged, maybe joked that I left a thank you note, and ripped it open without a second thought. And then the video would start. Just me, sitting on the motel bed, suitcase still zipped, calm as a lake on a windless day. Hi, I'd said. If you're watching this, you already know something's wrong. The rest of your trip has been canceled. Flights, excursions, hotel extensions wiped out. My card's been removed. Your plans? Gone. Before you start asking why, let's not waste time. You booked me into a motel an hour away because you didn't want me around. You joked about how I paid but wasn't part of the family. You thought I'd stay quiet like I always have. But not this time. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. On your own dime. Don't worry, I left you the sunrise. It's the only thing here that's still free. Cut to black. No yelling. No fighting. Just a polite little nuclear bomb dropped right in their laps. By 10:14 a.m., my phone had 15 missed calls. For voicemails, and a wall of insane texts from Tyler. Tyler, this isn't funny. Tyler, you're being a psycho. Tyler, grow up. Tyler, you embarrassed mom. Tyler, you ruined the trip for everyone. Tyler, what the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? Let's see. 10 years of unpaid emotional labor. 5 years of bailing them out financially. 1 Hawaii trip where they stuffed me in a roadside motel like unwanted luggage. Yeah. I guess I snapped. At 10:42 a.m., Diane called. I didn't pick up, but I listened to the voicemail later. Her voice shook like a leaf. Lucas, sweetheart, I don't know what happened. I thought you were happy to have your own space. We didn't mean to make you feel left out. Can we please talk? You're scaring me. I almost laughed out loud. Scaring her? I'd spent my whole life getting ghosted, gaslit, guilt-tripped by these people. And now, because I stopped smiling through it, I was the scary one? Gerald texted a little after that. Gerald, come on, man. Let's be reasonable. You didn't have to go nuclear. That's rich coming from the guy who stood by and watched while they froze me out over breakfast. Around noon, the situation got even better. The resort's billing office emailed me. Confirmation that my card had been officially removed. All remaining charges would now hit their rooms directly, assuming they could provide valid payment. Which, according to Sean, was a problem. Sean, why would you do this? None of us brought extra cards because you said you covered everything. Caleb's crying. We can't even go to the aquarium. I didn't reply, but I did chuckle. Then I checked Tyler's Instagram post from the night before, the one where he was shirtless on the beach, all vacation mode on. And I saw the comments. Someone, bro didn't even pay for his own hotel. LMAO. Another, imagine being so trash your brother cancels your trip midweek. Apparently the story had gotten out. Someone at the resort, maybe a guest, maybe an employee, had posted a short TikTok about it. Title: When the family freeloader finally gets cut off. It was already going viral. By the evening, the tone of their messages had shifted from furious to desperate. Brooke, we're locked out of the second room. They said the card was declined. Diane, Lucas, please. We didn't think it would hurt you like this. Gerald, come back and talk to us. We can fix this. And Tyler, well, Tyler, you're dead to me. Tyler, seriously, no one wants you in this family anymore. Tyler, this is why you're alone. There it was. The final card they always played. You're alone. As if that was news to me. As if I hadn't felt it every time they laughed without me, planned without me, lived their lives as if I was just a background character in their story. But here's the thing Tyler never understood. I might be alone, but I wasn't lonely. Not anymore. Because real loneliness? Loneliness is sitting across from your own mother while she thanks your brother for bringing everyone together. Even though you planned, paid for, and organized the entire trip. Loneliness is realizing no one thought to save you a seat at breakfast. No one even noticed you were missing. Solitude, that's what I found. Not loneliness, peace. I caught a flight out that very night. Window seat, no one sitting beside me. I ordered a drink and watched the islands shrink away under the wing. Green and gold jewels slipping into the deepening twilight. Back there somewhere they were scrambling, still yelling, still pointing fingers, still trying to piece together how everything had gone so wrong. And the best part? They didn't even realize yet. This wasn't just a ruined vacation. This was the end of the old deal. The end of me being their safety net. No more quiet support behind the scenes. No more monthly money transfers. No more co-signing loans. No more covering rent when they slipped up. No more picking up the shattered pieces they always left behind. I was done. Truly, finally done. And when they got home, when the reality of maxed out credit cards, canceled flights, unpaid bills, and viral humiliation hit them, I hoped it hit hard. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to be there to catch them when they fell. The silence stretched for 2 full days. And honestly, I thought that might be it. Maybe they were so stunned, so embarrassed, they'd just disappear. That would have been fine. Better than fine. It would have been clean. Simple. But no. Day 3, they fired up the spin machine. It started with Tyler posting a pity party story on Instagram. Some people wait their whole lives to ruin one vacation. Hope it was worth it, bro. Then Diane weighed in with a cryptic Facebook update. Families aren't perfect, but we grow stronger through love, not cruelty. And then came the full PR campaign. Brooke sent a long, sugar-coated email to a handful of extended relatives. Yes, she actually CC'd people. There was a tragic misunderstanding. Lucas felt excluded due to a booking error and reacted by canceling our entire trip without warning. We're still trying to process the trauma. Trauma. As if spending 3 nights at a 4-star chain hotel near the airport was enough to leave emotional scars. Because yeah, that's where their dream vacation ended. They tried to bluff it out at first, acting like I would eventually fix everything. Tyler even told the front desk, "He's our brother. He'll fix it." Like I was some forgotten towel service, not the guy who had quietly, methodically pulled the plug. But the staff was ready. My name? Gone. My card? Removed. They had everything documented in writing. By noon, 2 of their rooms were locked. Resort security walked them to the lobby, bags half-zipped, looking shell-shocked. They were offered the chance to pay out of pocket. They couldn't, so they checked out. The final 4 nights of their vacation, spent crammed into one room at a mid-tier hotel near the airport. For double beds, 2 roll-away cot. No beach, no cocktails, just runny eggs from a lukewarm breakfast buffet. I know this because a resort staff member, someone who watched the whole disaster unfold, actually emailed me privately. "We were all rooting for you," she wrote. Turns out the screaming really was loud enough to reach the shoreline. They missed every remaining excursion. Never made it to Maui. The catamaran ride Tyler bragged about? Gone. Sean cried in the lobby when they had to cancel Caleb's aquarium visit, after trying to guilt-trip the clerk into letting them in for free. And when it was time to head home, reality punched them in the mouth all over again. I had canceled their return flights too. They scrambled through the airport, trying to book last-minute tickets with whatever cards weren't maxed out yet. Brooke's card got declined twice. Gerald ended up covering most of it with his emergency-use-only credit card. Turns out getting booted from a luxury resort because you alienated your meal ticket qualifies as an emergency. By the time their plane wheels hit the tarmac back home, the story had already blown up online. Someone at the resort had posted a TikTok. Title: "When the family freeloader finally gets cut off." Clips included Tyler yelling at the front desk, Diane crying, clutching her handbag, Brooke storming off, dragging 2 inflatable pool floats behind her. 500,000 views in under 48 hours. The comments were brutal. "Protect Lucas at all costs. This is why you never bite the hand that pays for the helicopter ride." Plot twist: Lucas wasn't the quiet one. He was the executioner. And then came the real fallout. Back home, the damage wasn't just financial. I had cut everything off. The monthly cash I used to send Diane? Gone. The emergency savings account Tyler secretly dipped into? Closed. The shared Costco membership I'd been quietly paying for? Revoked. Then I sent a final email. Short, simple, final. Effective immediately. I am no longer providing financial or logistical support to any member of this family. Please do not contact me unless it is through a lawyer. They didn't take that well. Gerald texted me a screenshot of some credit card bill, along with a whiny message. "Gerald, your mother's really struggling. Any chance you could help? For her sake." I didn't reply. Tyler posted a mopey picture of him and Diane at a diner, captioned, "Family is supposed to forgive." It backfired immediately. A friend of mine commented, "Didn't you brag about ditching your brother in a motel? Good luck with that forgiveness tour." And then they went full scorched earth. They called mutual friends. They called extended family. They tried to smear me, saying I'd overreacted, claiming I'd always been emotionally unstable, painting me as some control freak. It might have worked if I hadn't already released the video. I uploaded the same recording I left behind at the hotel, just trimmed slightly for context. No rants, no accusations, no bitterness, just facts. A steady voice, a clear message. You didn't want me around. Now you're on your own. The internet did the rest. Some of their friends stopped calling. Diane lost her part-time bookkeeping job. Someone didn't want the drama tied to their small business. Sean's ex filed for full custody, citing emotional instability and public embarrassment. Tyler even tried to go on a podcast to share his truth. It got 4 views and 2 dislikes. Meanwhile, me? I was thriving. I booked a solo trip to Kyoto. No guilt. No group chats. No begging for attention. I walked under cherry blossoms. Ate steaming bowls of noodles in tucked-away alley shops. Slept deeper than I had in years. I started building a new life. Smaller circle. Stronger walls. People who liked me because I was kind, not because I was convenient. For the first time, I wasn't the support beam holding up a crumbling building. I was just free. The last message I ever got from Diane came 2 months later. "I know you hate us. I just wish you'd remember that we're still your family." I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed one line. "That used to mean something." And I hit send. It's been 8 months since that trip. And without my support, things unraveled fast. Mom and Gerald started struggling almost right away. Turns out I'd been quietly keeping their whole budget from collapsing more than I even realized. Gerald had to pick up gig jobs just to cover the gaps I used to fill without a second thought. Mom pretty much went into hiding, avoiding calls from relatives after a few too many awkward conversations about what really went down in Hawaii. Tyler blew through the last of his emergency fund within weeks. Brooke packed up and moved in with her sister just until things stabilize, she said. Meanwhile, Tyler tried setting up a crowdfunding campaign to cover his overdue rent. It didn't go the way he hoped. One of the top comments? Maybe don't ditch the guy paying for your vacation next time. Megan tried to get a loan co-signed. Nobody in the family wanted to touch it. Last I heard, she was back living with her mom, picking up shifts at a retail store. And me? I didn't gloat. I didn't reach out. I didn't rub salt in the wound. I just kept moving forward. Turns out peace is a lot quieter and a whole lot cheaper when you stop funding everyone else's chaos. But I'll be honest. Sometimes late at night, I still wonder. Was I right to finally draw that hard line? Or did I go too far? I'd really like to know what you think. Let me know in the comments.